Have you ever wondered why someone might willingly starve themselves despite the evident negative impacts on their health? Today, we're peeling back the layers on anorexia, a serious and potentially life-threatening eating disorder. It's not just about counting carbs or skipping meals, it's a psychological condition deeply rooted in self-perception and coping mechanisms. Often it requires intensive treatment from both a nutritional and mental health perspective. Anorexia is not a lifestyle choice or a diet gone wrong, it's a serious mental health condition that requires attention. Anorexia is complex and its causes are multifaceted. It could be triggered by a combination of genetic predisposition, personality traits, and societal pressures. Some people are naturally more anxious and perfectionist, making them more susceptible. Furthermore, societal and cultural norms that idealize slim or lean bodies can contribute to this disorder. Symptoms of anorexia often go beyond the obvious extreme weight loss and thin appearance. They might include abnormal blood counts, fatigue, insomnia, dizziness, or even fainting. More subtle signs might be a bluish discoloration of the fingers, an obsession with fitness, or an avoidance of certain nutritious substances like carbohydrates. These symptoms are a cry for help and should not be ignored. Recognizing these symptoms in oneself or others could be the first step towards getting help. The effects of anorexia extend far beyond physical health. It's a devastating disorder that can lead to malnutrition, heart complications, bone loss, and a slew of gastrointestinal issues. But it doesn't stop there. The mental toll is equally harrowing, with many suffering from depression and anxiety, often feeling down, and even at an increased risk of suicide. Anorexia can have grave consequences, but it's important to remember it's never too late to seek help. If you or someone you know is struggling with anorexia, you might feel helpless, but remember, there is help available. Reach out to a trusted person, contact a mental health professional, or call a helpline. Recovery is achievable, and while the road may be hard, it is definitely worth it for your well-being.
Take my advice. Listen and discuss. Do you look up websites that give advice? What do you search for?
1. Listen and discuss.
You've got questions? We've got answers. Help site for you. Leisure, health, eating, friends, travel, school, college. This site has been developed to help people who have problems and don't know who to turn to for help. We hope you will use it and make the right choices for life. Saying no to junk food. You want to stay healthy? Then you'd better stay away from fast food. Turn it down. The labels fast food or junk food refer to food that contains a lot of fat and is cooked in an unhealthy manner. Younger people tend to eat more junk food because of peer pressure. You should keep your principles and your sense of self-worth. You deserve healthy and nutritious food. So in the case of peer pressure, just say no. Hotline. For help at any time, talk on the phone with one of our counselors. Click here for more information.
Weight control. Anorexia. Anorexia is an eating disorder that affects people's appetites, usually because of emotional problems, stress, or pressure. This condition is quite common among teenagers, but it can also affect adults. The slim look is usually considered attractive by teenagers, so, in order to keep their weight down, these young people simply avoid food. Nowadays, there is a lot of information available about anorexia and a number of awareness-raising campaigns to prevent people from becoming anorexic.
I have to lose weight and run faster. What should I do?
You'd better stop eating junk food and exercise more.
Keeping fit. Fitness means being in good physical condition, healthy and strong, and is usually associated with exercise. That is not the whole picture. In order to keep fit, you have to eat well, sleep well, and generally feel good about yourself.
I know I should exercise, but I keep putting it off.
You ought to take up a sport, or you could work out with me if you like.
Driving. Some tips on driving. You should avoid driving too fast, driving through a red light, speaking on the phone while you are driving, overtaking other cars on a narrow road, racing, drifting on a busy road, staying safe on the road. You should always wear your seatbelt, even for short distances. You ought to observe speed limits, especially when you drive through towns. Try to slow down at intersections, even if you have right-of-way. You might check the route before you start, especially if you are going to a new place.
Take my advice. 3 Grammar. Modal auxiliaries. Should, ought to, might, could. Use should, ought to, might, and could to give advice. Ought to is stronger than should. Might and could are less strong. Question. Affirmative. Plus, negative. Should I stay, or should I go? You should stay. You shouldn't go. You ought to stay. You ought not to go. You might stay. You could stay. Had better is used to give advice. It's stronger than should and ought to. Note. Had can be contracted to d. Question. Affirmative. Plus, negative. Should I take this medicine? You'd better take it. You'd better not take it. 2-word and 3-word verbs equals new meaning. 1. Verb plus adverb particle. To put off. Postpone. They put off the meeting until next week. To give up. Stop doing. He gave up smoking for health reasons. To take up. Begin. I'm going to take up karate. To throw away. Discard. Don't throw away your old clothes. To turn down. Refuse. The committee turned down my proposal. 2. Verb plus adverb particle plus preposition. To get along with someone. Be friendly. I get along well with Fatima. To put up with someone or something my boss is difficult to put up with. Accept a bad situation. Pronoun objects go between the verb and particle. I can't find my old sneakers. Did you throw them away? Nouns can go between the verb and particle or after the particle. I threw the sneakers away. I threw away the sneakers. Take my advice for language in context. Read about Ali's lifestyle. Give advice to deal with his stress using should, ought to, or had better. Works 10 hours a day in the office. Takes work to do at home on the weekend. Drinks a lot of coffee. Spends an hour and a half in traffic on his commute. Doesn't have time to exercise. Rarely goes out with friends. Hasn't had a vacation in 2 years.
Five. Listening. 3 teenagers are talking to Dr. Wise about their problems. Complete the chart. Conversation 1.
Now, Harvey, what seems to be the problem?
Well, doctor, whenever I look at myself in the mirror, I feel terrible. I'm putting on so much weight.
Do you ever work out? Do you exercise?
Not really. I spend a lot of time sitting at my desk playing games on my computer.
What kind of food do you eat?
I have the usual pizza, beef burgers, fries, mostly fast food, but I don't eat all that much.
It isn't just the quantity, it's the quality. You should change your diet and eat more salads, fruits, and vegetables. And you ought to take up a sport or do some other physical activity.
Can't you just prescribe some of those diet pills, doctor?
Conversation 2.
What can I do for you, Idel?
Doctor, I have a problem with my skin. Look at my arms and hands. They're really itchy, and I scratch all the time.
Have you talked to your parents about this? Have you used a different soap or something lately?
Actually, it was my parents who suggested I come and see you. No, I haven't used a different soap, and I know we haven't changed detergent, so I don't know what it is.
What have you been eating?
Meat and vegetables and some fruit. Fries, but I've always had fries. They've never done this to me. Oh, yes, cashew nuts. I eat loads of nuts because I do a lot of training for the football team, you know.
Well, Idel, I don't think you need to worry about anything as long as you stop eating nuts. Yes, I know they're really nutritious, but they don't seem to agree with you. And just to be on the safe side, I would advise you to stay away from all types of nuts and salty snacks.
Conversation 3.
So, Saeed, what's the matter with you?
I'm not sure. Every time I exercise or run, I feel really weak. The other day, I nearly fainted at school. And the strange thing is, I eat well and I watch what I eat. I try to avoid junk food. I don't eat any sugar. I don't use salt.
I've known you since you were a kid and you never had a problem. What made you give up salt and sugar completely? Did anyone encourage you to avoid them?
Well, actually, no, but I read some articles on the web, and they said that if you're a man, it's a good idea to be careful with food and to get regular exercise as prevention against high blood pressure.
Saeed, you're a young man. You've been strong and healthy since you were a baby. No wonder you've been feeling faint. You use up a lot of energy and you need calories, fuel for your system. Start with salt in your food. By the way, a little sugar won't hurt you, especially before or after practice. Your body needs it. The articles you read were probably addressed to older men, not teenagers like yourself. And don't believe everything you read, at least not yet.
Children how to deal with danger, you will help to keep them out of harm's way.
Take my advice 7 about you. 1. What are the most common problems for the people you know? Answers. 2. Do you know people that are either easy or difficult to get along with? Why is that so? Answers. 3. Do you know anyone who eats too much junk food? How can you help? Answers. 4. Do you know anyone who suffers from anorexia? How can you help? Answers. 5. Are you weight conscious? Explain. Answers. 6. Are you concerned about your health and fitness? Explain. Answers.
Take my advice. 8. Conversation. Hussein, hey, Muhammad. You look upset. What's the matter? Muhammad, I'm feeling down. It's all these exams coming up. There's so much pressure and everyone's calling me all the time, to ask about this or that. When I'm out they're constantly calling me on my cell phone to ask for help. If I say I can't speak, they want to know what time I will be available and where I will be so they can come over or call again. Why don't they call someone else? Hussein, you ought to talk to them and explain that they can't expect you to be free to help everyone all the time. You have work to do as well. Muhammad, I tried talking to them, but they say I'm being selfish, and looking out for myself and nobody else. Oh, I give up. Hussein, they probably think you don't need to study. You know it all anyway. Muhammad, seriously, of course, I need to study. I don't remember everything we've done. Do you get calls from classmates? Hussein, sure. They're pretty nervous about calling you, so they call me first to find out what kind of mood you're in. To be honest, I would be really happy if you talk to them. I don't know what to say to them anymore. Jazam alokailajarjo1399@gmail.com.
Take my advice 9 reading. Before reading. 1. Write down what you think are the main ingredients that attract people to junk food. 2. List the factors that normally lead people to become addicted to junk food.
9. Reading.
Good eating habits contribute to health and fitness and make you feel strong. What is so good about a diet of vegetables and fruit, combined with lean meat, preferably chicken or fish, you might ask? If you are very tired, hungry, and upset, there is nothing better than a juicy beef burger with fries, or a giant pizza, you think. That's probably true if your brain has gotten used to the pleasure felt when tasting junk food. But is it good for you? Does it help you stay fit and control your weight? How do you feel after you've had a meal? Are you sure it's not time to break the habit? Breaking the habit. Getting healthy. The following is a checklist to help you decide if it's time for you or a friend to change eating habits. Just one warning sign should be enough reason to take action. You shouldn't think junk food the minute you start feeling hungry. There never is an acceptable reason for this. It is a definite sign of a habit that is on the way to becoming an addiction. Comfort eating is usually associated with junk food and, in general, high-calorie food that is also high in carbohydrates, starch and sugar, and saturated fat. If you run to the nearest fast food chain every time you feel down, you know it is out of control. A healthy, nutritious meal does not have to be bland and boring. When pushed, you can picture appetizing dishes that do not contain fries or fatty ingredients, but you still prefer to get a hold of a beef burger or a pizza. You know it's not the best food for you. You know that you are going to feel sleepy and tired after you have eaten. To be honest, healthy is a relative term. It all depends on what your alternatives are. There are healthier choices you can make, even at a fast food restaurant. You might, for example, order salad as a side dish instead of a second helping of fries. You could avoid condiments such as ketchup or mayonnaise, or eat a chicken burger. You know all this. You have promised yourself to do it next time you are there, but somehow it never happens. You keep insisting that those dishes take longer to prepare. But breaking a habit can leave you feeling down. Don't worry, this is quite common, and it shouldn't last very long if you stick to your decision to give up junk food. You ought to decide on your own if it's best to cut down on the amount of junk food you eat gradually over a period of time, or whether it's best to stop altogether for some time. You should allow yourself some time to do it successfully. You shouldn't give up simply because you were with friends and joined them for dinner at a fast food restaurant, or because you helped yourself to a few fries. Pick up some menus from different restaurants and read them carefully, paying attention to the ingredients of each dish. Then, highlight the dishes that you find interesting. You might go to the supermarket and wander around making a list of all the food and ingredients that you find attractive. If a friend insists on offering you junk food, turn down the offer and treat yourself to something nice. The important thing is to regain control and only eat junk food when nothing else is available, or very occasionally for a change. Make a list of all the things you enjoyed doing, but had to give up because you gained weight or do not feel energetic enough. Decide what you would like to do again and when. Set yourself goals that are achievable and enjoyable. Treat yourself right.
Take my advice 10 writing. 1. Do you have friends who live in another city or country? Do you write to them? Do you know anyone who does? 2. Would you like to move to another place? Why? 3. What would you miss if you moved to another town, city or country? 4. Read the letter and identify the problem.
10. Writing.
I hope you have had a good school year. I am sorry I haven't written sooner, but it has been very busy and difficult for all of us. Moving to a different city has not been easy. I miss you and all our friends. I have made some friends at my new school, but I am still considered the new student, so I never get invited anywhere. I tried to invite some of my classmates during the holiday, but only one turned up. The rest didn't even call to let me know that they couldn't come. I have tried to be nice to everyone and give them and myself time to get to know each other, but nothing has come of it. I have been feeling down for some time, and I can't concentrate. My grades have dropped, and I have gained a lot of weight because I get no exercise. They won't let me play football with them. I feel like giving up on everything. All I do is go to school, come back home, do my homework, and play video games on my own. I don't know what to do. If you have any tips, please write, and tell me what to do and what not to do. I can't think straight any longer. Hope to see you soon.
I am really sorry to hear. I understand how you feel. I would feel the same way. I don't understand why people do this sort of thing. I think, maybe, you should. How about, have you tried? I would. But then again, you know best, it's hard to imagine what it feels like. I wouldn't like to be in your place. Practice using some of this language by responding to these statements. 1. My computer crashed and all my emails were deleted. I don't know what to do. 2. My friend wants to borrow my camera. I've only had it for a month and it's a very expensive, sensitive camera that needs to be handled carefully. I don't know what to say.
Dear name, I'm writing to you today because I'm concerned about the problem you're facing. I know it's a difficult situation, but I want you to know that you're not alone. I believe in your strength and resilience, and I know you can overcome this challenge. Here are a few things you can do to help yourself. Talk to someone you trust. It can be helpful to talk to a friend, family member, therapist, or counselor about what you're going through. Take care of yourself. Make sure you're eating healthy, getting enough sleep, and exercising regularly. Don't give up. There will be ups and downs, but don't give up on yourself. I'm sending you my love and support. Sincerely, your name. Dear student's name, I understand that you're facing some challenges lately, and I want to offer you my support. Remember, you're not alone in this. Many students struggle with similar issues, and there are resources available to help you succeed. First and foremost, don't hesitate to reach out for help. Talk to your teachers, counselors, or even a trusted friend or family member. They can provide guidance and support as you work through your difficulties. Secondly, take care of yourself. Make sure you're getting enough sleep, eating healthy meals, and exercising regularly. A healthy body and mind can help you cope with stress and perform your best academically. Finally, remember that you are capable of overcoming any obstacle. Believe in yourself, stay focused, and keep working hard. You have the strength and resilience to achieve your goals. Sincerely, your name. Dear, student's name, seek help from teachers, counselors, or trusted individuals. Prioritize your well-being, including sleep, nutrition, and exercise. Believe in yourself and persevere through challenges. Sincerely, your name. Dear, friend's name, I know things are hard right now. You are not alone. I care about you. Never give up on yourself. You are strong. You can overcome anything. Reach out to me if you need anything. I'm always here for you. Love, your name.
Take my advice 11 form, meaning and function. Question words. How many, how much? To ask about the quantity of something we use how much, how many. We use how much with non-count nouns, and we use how many with plural count nouns. Q. How much exercise do you do? A. I go to the gym twice a week. Q. How many brothers do you have? A. I have 3 brothers. Quantity expressions. Much, many, a lot of, lots of, a few, a little. Q. How much fruit do you usually eat? A. I eat a lot of, lots of, fruit every day. Q. How many vegetables do you eat? A. I eat a few green vegetables every day. I don't eat many vegetables. Q. How much salt do you eat? A. I eat little salt. It's not good for you. I don't eat much salt. It's not good for you. Words connected with medicine and clauses with when. Q. What do you do when you have a cold? Q. How do you feel when you exercise? A. I usually take some aspirin. A. I feel great.
Sure, here is a definition of each word, followed by a random relisting of the words. Anorexia, a serious eating disorder in which people restrict their food intake and become emaciated. Appetite, a natural desire to eat food. Carbohydrate, a type of organic compound that is the main source of energy for living organisms. Counselor, a person who provides professional guidance and support to people who are struggling with personal or emotional problems. Eating disorder, a mental illness that is characterized by abnormal eating habits and a distorted body image. Fitness, the state of being physically fit and healthy. Peer pressure, the influence that people exert on each other to conform to a particular standard. Principle, a fundamental belief or rule that guides one's behavior. Self-worth, the value that one places on oneself. Substance, a material that has a particular physical or chemical composition. Well-being, the state of being healthy and happy. Avoid, to keep away from or to do one's best not to do something. Gain weight, to increase in body weight. Lose weight, to decrease in body weight. Regain, to get back something that was lost. Random relisting of the words. Carbohydrate. Counselor. Eating disorder. Fitness. Peer pressure. Principle. Self-worth. Substance. Well-being. Avoid. Gain weight. Lose weight. Regain. Achievable. Capable of being attained or accomplished. Bland. Having little or no flavor or interest. Depressed. Experiencing a feeling of sadness, discouragement, or loss of hope. Illegal. Not permitted by law. Unlawful. Lean. Having little fat or flesh. Thin. Nutritious. Providing nutrients that are essential for health and growth. Old-fashioned. Out of date or no longer fashionable. Slim. Thin and slender. Could. Used to indicate possibility, ability, or permission. Had better. Used to indicate advisability or necessity. Might. Used to indicate possibility or doubt. Ought to. Used to indicate obligation or duty. Should. Used to indicate advisability or obligation. Provide a definition. to give an explanation or account of the nature or meaning of something. Randomly relist the words old-fashioned, bland, slim, might, depressed, lean, could, had better, should, nutritious, ought to, illegal. Sure, here are the definitions of the words you provided, along with a random relisting of the words: give up, to stop trying or pursuing something; put off, to delay or postpone something; take up, to start doing something regularly; throw away, to discard or dispose of something; turn down, to refuse or decline something; cut down on, to reduce the amount of something you do or consume; get along with, to have a good relationship with someone; put up with, to endure or tolerate something; feeling down, feeling sad or depressed; look out for myself, to take care of my own needs and interests; to be honest, to be truthful and sincere. Here is a random relisting of the words: look out for myself, feeling down, turn down, put up with, give up, take up, cut down on, get along with, put off, to be honest. Take my advice. As someone who has struggled with eating disorders in the past, I want to share some advice that has helped me on my journey to well-being. First and foremost, it's important to look out for yourself. If you're feeling down or depressed, it's important to seek help from a counselor or therapist. They can provide you with support and guidance as you work through your eating disorder. It's also important to have a healthy relationship with food. This means avoiding bland or nutritious foods, and instead focusing on lean, healthy choices. It's also important to cut down on carbohydrates and substances. Fitness is another important part of recovering from an eating disorder. It's important to take up a fitness activity that you enjoy, and to stick with it. Exercise can help you lose weight or gain weight, and it can also help you feel better about yourself. It's also important to get along with your peers. This means avoiding peer pressure, and instead being yourself. It's also important to put up with old-fashioned advice from your parents, even if it's not what you want to hear. To be honest, recovering from an eating disorder is a journey, and it's not always easy. There will be times when you feel like giving up, but it's important to remember that you could, had better, might, ought to, or should keep going. Just remember to take things one day at a time, and to focus on your own well-being. With a little effort, you could regain your self-worth, and achieve your fitness * goals.